Wi-Fi no matter what device I'm using. Sorry, I wish I could be home to do this. Okay. I don't know what's going on here. Sorry, I'm trying. Well, I can still speak, right? So Bob, will Adam be joining us?
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, he's here. Okay.
Yep.
It said, oh, it does say that. Okay. Sorry, something was blocking it. It said Ada, but I see Adam there. Okay. Is it okay if we start with Adam?
Sure.
Kind of go out of our, okay. Well, first of all, I guess officially I will call to order the June 4, 2025 Parks Rec and Open Space Committee meeting.
Are we live?
I had to, it says we're live.
Yeah, in my
Uh,
right-hand corner, it says YouTube is streaming.
Jeff said we're live.
Yep. Okay.
We're
Thank you,
good.
Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for starting this. I apologize for having to multitask over here. And I will apologize too if I have to jump off for a minute. It's because there are two more events going on that I might have to watch my daughter do real fast. So again, I apologize for the conflict. Didn't know they were going to have a meet tonight. Just thought it was practice. Okay, so first, is there any public comment? I don't think we have, other than Adam. It doesn't look like we have any members of the public on Zoom to speak. Then I will move on to our official welcome to Matt Thompson and Chris Consorto. You guys are official now as of 3 days ago. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to a wonderful committee experience together as a new committee. Then I will make a motion. Hopefully everybody got the minutes from Kyle. I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting, May 7, 2025.
I'll
Do I have
second
a
that.
second?
Yeah,
Thank
second.
you. Thank you, Jennifer. Any opposed? Assume everybody's in favor. Okay, that passes. Thank you, Kyle, as always. Now I'm going to go out of order and start with Adam Swift, if that's okay with everybody, and he can give us an update on the progress he's made and what has changed since our last meeting.
All right, so I have something to present, like a slideshow.
Great.
I think somebody has to give him permission to be able to share his screen. It could be Bob or Heather, whoever's
Bob,
hosting.
yeah, Bob, you should, since I'm on my tablet, it's not letting me have all of these.
What do I hit share?
You have to.
Movies.
You have to.
give Adam permission to screen share. I know where it is on
Okay, so I'm looking at a
on
green,
my home computer.
green button that says share, and there's an arrow next to it that says multiple participants can share, or
Yeah,
one,
just do that.
or one
Just do that. That's
participant.
fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. Just
that'll
let
let
everybody.
Adam.
Nope,
Yeah.
nobody's gonna jump in and do anything inappropriate. Hopefully.
Okay, go ahead, Adam. Try it.
Let's see if this works. Can you guys see it?
Yep, it's loading now.
You're
Yep,
here.
perfect.
All right, nice. So essentially this is just informational, since last time I was told to have like drawings so that you guys can see kind of what I was thinking. And I also have a budget and also a map so everybody can see where it's at. So here's the map of Crosshand Park and Franklin Preserve. And the circle is pointing to the area on the trail where we are planning to put the bridge. And that's along the red trail and the blue trail. And now here are two drawings I made to show kind of the assembly. Now, the current plan is to have at the very least two telephone poles, 30 feet long, and then we can cut them down to a size that's able to span the gap between, which is about 20 feet. And I was actually advised by an engineer who I just know personally. He said that um, I don't want something that's going to be just like a couple feet longer than the gap. I want something that's going to be at least 3 feet wider than the gap that I'm covering because if not, then it might erode during a storm or something, and that would be very bad. And above the telephone poles, which would act as the base, I'm going to just have planks along the length of it. And on the sides of the telephone poles, we're planning on installing railings. And this design comes from another bridge that's in the park, in the southern area of Franklin Preserve, along the same sort of estuary. Any questions?
How wide did we
Yeah, that
figure
was my
it's
exact
gonna
question.
be?
How wide is it? You have the height and the length, but not the width of the planks.
I forgot to add the arrow to show that, but we are planning on it being 6 feet long, 6 feet wide, I mean.
Six
Oh,
feet
great.
wide?
Wow.
Now, your engineer, did he say anything about a second telephone pole or anything across, or a third telephone pole across the middle?
Um,
Since it's gonna be 60 feet wide
60 feet.
or
You
six
said
feet,
you said
6 feet
6 feet,
wide.
right?
Sorry.
But even
Um,
that, I agree with Bob. Is that maybe too wide that you might need something to support the center? Right,
yeah,
Bob? You think, is that what you're thinking, Bob, that it needs something in the center?
Yes, yes, because I think we had discussed wide enough to get a gator across, right? And I forget what the measurement of the gator was, but I think we were originally talking when we went out to the stream, like 42 or 48 inches,
hmm,
right? So I don't know that you actually need it 6 feet wide.
hmm. Yeah,
You
that
know?
would be an easy change to make
Yeah,
because
yeah, I think we
right
need to
now,
button down on how wide we want that to be, you know?
Yeah, because structurally, Adam, I'd be worried it would start to sag in the middle unless maybe you could put cross. I'm not an engineer, obviously, but if you could put cross beams or something that keep it from sagging in the middle.
um, well, that's kind of what we thought about because on the other bridge, it's a similar length and they used the telephone poles. Now, I think they did use multiple, like instead of just two, I think they had maybe four in total. So I'll incorporate that. Um, because yeah, that would be more structurally stable. Um,
And would that possibly increase your cost then if you need to get additional
yeah,
telephone?
probably about $600 more.
Okay, so let's do this. I'll find out how wide we really want to be, right? Within a few inches or so. And then you can talk to your engineer and see what he says.
All right.
But I personally think that there should be something down the middle of that because eventually over time, 10 years from now, when a board rots, somebody's going to have a pretty good fall through there,
Right.
right? At
And,
least if there's a board there holding it up, it gives it more stability.
and Bob, if I ask you this question, if it could be 4 feet wide and then you could use 8 feet boards and then save if it was only 6 feet and then you had to cut some of it, then there would be a lot more waste. But if you could use an 8 foot board, cut it in half.
Right, right. That's perfect.
So if it could be four, that would probably save you some money, Adam, and having to then
Right.
buy multiple six and cut it.
Now that's another thing because with the website that I'm using, it's just Home Depot for the normal lumber. Of course, you can't buy telephone poles from Home Depot, but for the planks, it's actually you can buy them in 4 foot, 6 foot, and 8 foot. So I'd have to see which is more cost efficient, buying 38 foot and then cutting them down to size or the 64 foot.
Okay. So just obviously cost, but as long as it's safe enough and fits the need of the gator.
Right.
And do we know if there's an ADA requirement? I mean, I'm not sure that, I mean, we're trying to make some of the, like, a lot of the trails and bridges, more accessible for disabled or lesser abled. Is there an ADA requirement on width?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. I don't know what the requirement is, and if it's in a remote area, that might be something that when he speaks with the Board of Supervisors, that the attorney might be able to advise on.
Right, and I can also take him to see Mark Gordon, our township zoning officer, and he can guide through that as well. For some reason, I think it was 42 inches for wheelchair accessible. And that's going back years and years from friends of mine that were in wheelchairs. So I
Right.
don't,
Well,
I don't
And that
know
does
if
Well,
it's
that-
changed.
That's kind of like
so
the
the
doorway.
4 foot, the 4 foot would definitely work then in that case.
But does it have to
But-
have like a maybe a slope on the end of each, like leading up to the bridge? Like I don't know how built up it's
It-
going to be, Adam. Like if it's going to be built above the terrain, or do you have to slope it?
We're planning on building it into the terrain and stabilizing it with concrete, and also probably gravel, which would act as a sort of natural ramp. That was something that we saw with the other bridge, because it's also a bike path.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah, I was gonna say, if it's,
Yeah, the bridge isn't going to
If
sit
it's-
above the ground. It's picture riding a bicycle. You're just going to ride right on through.
Okay, right. I've seen the other one. So that you'll be flush with the ground. That'd be perfect.
Hmm.
I don't think in all of our kind of conversations about things we're doing at the park, we ever discussed ADA compliance, did we?
I don't recall.
I don't think so, but I know it's something that Dave and Bob and I discussed a few months ago, when getting, when you get to that bridge that goes toward Paradox, it has the concrete steps.
I know
Yes,
that's
we've talked-
it's been a
we've-
desire, right? It's been
Yeah.
encouraged to start looking that direction.
Yes, and we met a man with a cane, walking stick at the time, but who still has trouble with steps. And it would be nice if we could make at least part of the trail system completely ADA, compliant, accessible, and maybe eventually we can mark that on the trails that
Yeah, especially this trail
People-
because it's pretty flat.
right.
That people can get down there.
So, I mean, I don't think we fall under any legal parameter where we have to comply, but as a, township service, I feel like it would be great if we can, make some trails and bridges and whatever else is on the way more suitable.
I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, if it's possible without too much expense and delay.
Okay. I was
Okay,
just curious.
Adam, we'll let you pick back up. Sorry,
Yeah. So Adam, it seems like you just need to update the one picture just with the width, and I guess you need to hear from Bob about that first.
Yeah, and I'll find out that tomorrow for you.
True.
Adam.
yeah, and find out based on width if there's a third pole that will be needed.
Right. And this is the final slide, the budget. Now, this is just the current budget because this could change depending on the ADA compliance, and also if we want to put in an additional telephone pole, and also if we want to change the width. Now, I think the options for width would be 4 foot or 8 foot, cut the 8 foot. So yeah, this is kind of the breakdown. Each telephone pole is about $300 each. Every website and business, they have a different price, but generally for a class 5 or 6, which is I think that's the kind they use for actual telephone poles. They're generally $250 to $320 per pole for a 30-foot one. And we need 2 of those currently, but that'll probably change.
Adam,
And
I'm gonna interrupt again real quick, sorry. But on the telephone poles, does that include delivery of them? They're not exactly an easy thing to go run and pick up and bring over, so just wanted to put that
right
in there.
now, that could actually change depending on who we're buying it from. I know that Oxford Feed and Lumber over in Oxford, they do give discounts to scouts working on their Eagle project.
Yes.
But I don't know how that would factor into the shipping. I'd have to see, but I can't imagine that would be more than $100.
Okay,
But I would definitely
okay.
have to check.
Just wanted you to keep that in mind.
And then the rest of these are just the rest of the lumber that we would need. We need 4 2x2 by 4 by 10-foot planks for the railings. That would be 2 on each side for the 20-foot gap, and then 60 6-foot planks if they're going to be 4 inches long. And that could also change because I'm not sure if they sell 2x4s in 4 foot. They might just sell them as 2x6s in 4 foot. I'd have to check again. But the price would probably still be around that, like 250 to 300. And then we would need 12 4-inch by 4-inch by 8-foot to be cut in half for railing posts. And that would be 12 on each side. And then I just put down wood screws. Each of them is about $20.50 for like 100 pack. And then the shipping from Home Depot, they said that it would be $70, but I don't know, that might change. So that's
Yeah,
something we would
Adam,
need.
real quick, we just had something shipped from Home Depot and it was $79, and we live in Franklin Township. So, I mean, that's a pretty accurate price, and we had way more stuff delivered.
Okay. So that works out.
Adam, the only thing, I just did a quick Google search real quick, and maybe this is something that Bob can help you with. It said the big thing with bridges is it's about the weight. Is it a way to find out the weight of the vehicle, Bob? That might change what he needs to do to support it.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna find that out as well, because it is accessible where we can get to it to see how much it weighs.
Yeah, like if you could see the serial number on the vehicle, you could look up the weight.
Quick
There
question.
were already engineered drawings that had been done for several different bridge designs that have been discussed in the past. Is that something we could pull information from? Like, I feel like Paul has talked about that in the past.
I talked to Paul about it a couple of weeks ago after our
Yeah.
last meeting, and he said that designs he had wouldn't work because it was for a much smaller bridge.
Okay, all right, good. Well, at least that rules that out.
Yeah.
Quick question. Just out of curiosity, how do you plan to affix the railings on the side of the? You're just gonna wood screw them straight on?
That might have to be more thoroughly engineered because I'm not sure that a single wood screw on each railing would really provide that much support.
Could I make a suggestion?
Sure.
Lag screws. You know what I mean by a lag? Lag
Yeah.
in a washer. It will hold a lot more weight than you think it will. So.
Wait, are you done your meeting?
Maybe even put a piece of lumber underneath of it and make it like a little bit of an A-frame coming off of it. I think there's one bridge out there that looks similar to that as well.
The Whitty
So.
Bridge.
Hmm?
The Whitty Bridge down at the bottom of the crossing, down in that right-hand corner.
That might be
If-
safer for children too. Than to Chris's point, like, you know, if you did like the crosses, then it would be
What?
less opening for somebody to fall through. Adam, I have one other question. Do you have anybody, and this just came up recently, I don't know if you're familiar with this. Do you have anybody in your troop that is a veteran or military? Because we've been able to get some pretty big discounts using my husband's military discount. It's like 10%.
I think so. I think my scoutmaster was a Marine. I'd have to ask.
I mean, it's just something to look into because 10% would be a nice discount on your project.
It would be. And about payment, my parents said that we could pay for a portion, whatever the township wouldn't cover. And we wouldn't have to hold any fundraisers or anything. And my scoutmaster approved the idea.
Well, that's very kind and generous.
I don't know where that is. That is.
That's not supposed to. I don't think that's supposed to be there.
Sorry about the background noise.
Any
Okay,
other questions?
anybody else have more questions for Adam?
So can I just chime in, not to come into this late, but does it necessarily have to be built that a gator can go across it? My only thinking is you can access anything you need to access down through the fields. I just don't see why it needs to be built to take a gator across it.
Well, it was just an idea of Jeff's, to get one down there, and you're right, you could come down the backside along where the tube trees are as well.
Correct.
To get there.
I think it's getting over engineered for something that maybe is never going to have to happen.
That's a great point. I didn't even think about it. Like, I just feel bad. Like
And I feel like I'm like Monday morning quarterback in this thing,
but
but
it sounds like it would save him a ton of money if it's not necessary.
Right. So it can be wide. I don't care. Like, that's fine. Wide's fine. But do we necessarily need to worry about getting a piece of equipment over it? Because I don't foresee that being necessary. So
Right.
anyway, just something I thought I would throw out there. So I think that the 2 telephone pole idea, if it's 48 inches widest at the most, might be good. Because you
Yeah,
could
because
tuck
you could
those
just
in.
you could just move those in a little bit and just have overhang out there.
Correct. Because most of the weight's going to be right down that middle.
Right.
And not that nobody, but if there's only a foot hanging over each side, you know what I mean? So, and those, so I just think, I'm also thinking, how are you getting those telephone poles down there?
We were actually thinking about that as a troop. Now, if we have them delivered to the Crosshand Park parking lot, we'd have to see if they could get them to the lower parking lot or if it'd have to be at the upper parking lot. But if they can get to them to the lower parking lot, then we might be able to just walk them in with like a group of people. Like
Or-
for the project, we're planning on having maybe 5 to 10 scouts.
We can't
It-
time try.
And it might be easier. It might be a shorter run if you can get it down to those
Oh,
pipe
are
trees
you reading my notes?
from the other side,
I'm on
from
the phone.
like
I'm on
the
the-
preserve side. Again,
On the meeting.
I'm just thinking out loud.
Why'd you
here.
have to do it
So,
here?
But I
Because
think
I helped
that's all
start it
stuff
a long
to be
time ago.
figured
It's
out
right there.
later.
Go.
But anyway,
They should be able to back down there. Because that's a straight run.
so anyway,
Find 30 people to help you move
yeah, exactly.
them.
Yeah, Bob, if you can check on that, that would probably save him a ton of money to Matt's point.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do that because, like Matt said, there's really no reason to worry about getting a gator across there, but I'll just make sure.
And if somebody tries to get a gate across it and they can't, you can blame me. So,
Matt did
it's all my fault.
it.
Matt's gonna have to come and carry it.
That's right.
Okay, any more questions for Adam? Or Adam, anything else that you have for us?
I think that's everything.
Remind me one more time when's your drop dead date on this? It's like late this year, right? Like December or something?
Yeah, late
Yeah,
December.
okay. Not that you want to be doing a lot of this like once it gets really cold in the fall, but so I'm going to request once again that we can set up a special meeting if we need to, but that you come back and, you need some questions answered on our end, and then we need a little more information from you. So I feel like we're not quite at the point where you're ready to go to the board of supervisors. So we need to schedule, if not sooner, at least for you to come back at next month's meeting, at the July meeting, with your proposal a little, little more solid
All right.
before we say, okay, you're ready for the board.
Heather, I don't mean to disagree with you, and if that's what Adam wants to do, I just feel bad that if he could get those couple questions answered and then just email us, he might be able to have this ready for the next Board of Supervisors meeting.
Well,
Yeah.
the next one will be in 2 weeks, so I don't know that all of that
To-
can happen fast enough. But
Okay.
I mean, if so, yes. But I feel like, we ran into this last year where the proposal really wasn't as ready as it should have been, and then we had
Okay.
some back and forth and back and forth. So I just, for Adam's sake, more than anything, I don't want him to go don't want him to go to the board until
All the questions are answered. I agree.
it's done, and there's nothing that they can pick at and need answered. So, but I feel like we also can discuss this with supervisors between now and then, that it doesn't have to, we can try to get those potential questions brought up ahead of time. What else will you need? So we can do that on your behalf, Adam. But again, we've got a little bit of questions to do and a little more due diligence on both parts. And we want you to be able to submit your proposal and have it ready to go. And then you can start as soon as you want to. So
I have a
we're here-
suggestion.
we're here to help. Yes, Kyle.
Maybe add a picture of what the bridge is going to look like. Like take a picture of a similar bridge and say, so they know what it is actually going to look like.
I think Adam said he was sort of judging it off of something that was already in the park, or
Right,
in the
so
preserve,
add a
right? So
picture
yeah,
to
so let's add that picture, and you say, this is my vision, and make that part of your PowerPoint.
Adam, you remember that first bridge I took you and your dad over
Yeah, that's the one that I
Up
got
on
most
the-
of the inspiration from.
up on the west side? Take that picture. And I'll get the rest of these questions answered for you tomorrow. And then you can start buttoning this up.
All right. Sound good?
Good job.
All right, Bob, I'm going to make you responsible for marking down those little items that need follow-up and
Already done.
answers. Okay,
Already down.
perfect. Thank you. All right, thank you, Adam. Nice job. We're looking forward to you getting started, and we appreciate you choosing our park for your project.
Yeah, of course.
All right, you're welcome to stay, but you can jump off if you want to.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Talk to you all soon. Bye.
Great. All right, so I'm going to get back to the agenda at this point. I have fundraising as the next topic, and I was not able to be on the Board of Supervisors meeting a couple weeks ago, and then we apparently had some trouble with it being recorded. So I have no official knowledge of what took place, but I know Bob mentioned that he brought up the topic of fundraising.
Yes.
And Bob, I assume you mean like sort of crowdsourced fundraising, like a GoFundMe or a community type of fundraising for something.
Correct.
Okay.
The only thing we'd have to do is just go to the Board of Supervisors, get our project approved, and then we would be able to do some kind of fundraising to pay for it.
Okay.
That's if we come up with something astronomical.
Yeah. Or just something that you think the community would, really sort of like the Whitty Bridge, where the community has really gotten behind that in terms of the repairs, and then the paw prints and all that stuff. It'd be down the road. It'd be great to have another project like that. That the township really, the community members really would be interested in, being a part of. And I also had.
Heather,
Go
hold on one
ahead.
second. Can you let Andrew back in?
Oh yeah, sorry. I'm sitting here. I'm in the car. I'm on 3 different devices.
I don't have access to do it.
Hang on. I Oh, goodness. I had to log in on my laptop and I had to use my phone for my mobile data connection. And so I don't have data on my laptop. I have data on my other devices. And somehow the laptop won't let me log in. But that was the only way I could see Adam sharing his screen was to load up my laptop through the data sharing.
Sounds awful.
Now I can't. Technology is great when, I mean, it's working, but now when I have to do things like letting people in, I don't know where I'm going. Hang on. Give me a second. I'm going to try.
Yeah, I can't see the waiting room on my board.
Yeah. I thought Jeff gave both of us.
He did. He made me code. I don't see.
Yeah, but it's not showing up.
No,
Okay.
it's not in my little bar down here.
All right. It's not showing on mine.
Hey, Heather.
All right. Yes.
I'm sorry. I have to go. My mom just called. She's getting rushed to the hospital. I am so sorry.
Oh God, Jen. Sorry. No,
I'm sorry.
go.
I'm sorry. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.
Go. Okay. Okay. She's so sweet to even say it. Okay. I'm really trying here, guys.
I have host tools, but it doesn't let me do anything. The only thing I can do is remove.
Okay. Yeah. Usually I get a little pop-up because I was able to let myself in as a second participant on my other device, and I let Mary in, and now I can't figure out where that went because I don't see any, it's not showing me anybody waiting.
Oh, I know why I can't, because I didn't sign in. So participants doesn't let me bring up the waiting room.
Are you trying to get Kyle?
No, we're trying to get Andrea back.
Andrea.
Aw.
There we go. Okay, I found it.
You got it?
All right.
There you
All
go.
right, Andrea, you in?
Oh my goodness, thank you. Yeah,
Oh,
here.
goodness, I'm so
Sorry.
sorry.
No, it's my fault. I'm having
No.
issues tonight here.
Oh, well, trust me.
Stuck in the ozone again, huh?
Okay. So there we were in the middle of fundraising, and Bob, you were saying something else about,
Donations?
oh, yeah. Was that just you telling me to let somebody in?
Yeah, I broke. You were
Okay.
started. You went into
Okay.
something else, and then I asked you to stop and
All right.
let
Okay.
Andrea do that. Matt,
All right,
change
so
the angle of your camera.
move.
That's better. That other way, just creepy.
Bob didn't like looking at your belly. Okay, so speaking of Matt, Matt had messaged me separately because I'd put on the agenda to ask him about grant proposals and process, and I know because he's done he's obtained some grants for projects in the parks before, and he referred me to his colleague in Velo Amis. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, but a bike group big into fundraising that I believe that Chris is also a member of. And I will follow up with her And then Bob mentioned to me that the board wants to know beforehand for any type of grant proposals, and which I understand, and I believe, the board wants to know everything before we do it. But I just wanted to understand, because I've never applied for grants, I've never written grants, and I just want to find some people who can. Go ahead, Dawn.
No, I was just going to tell you that Jeff is really good about sourcing grants, but and he's asked me to try to help him meet with people. We were talking to Chester County Parks and Preservation, and it's through the Chester County Commission. And long story short, the person had retired. Was a new interim person. Now there's a new person. Right before I went on vacation, we made it, set up a thing to meet with him. Now we're going to meet with him soon. So this is Chester County Parks and Preservation. So we're going to talk to him about what types of grants are appropriate for the park.
Okay.
Is it bricks and mortar? Is it programming? Is it,
the meadow?
Care, so we're
yeah.
going to meet with him soon. Jeff and I are going to do a Zoom meeting with him. So yeah, we're just trying to investigate places we can get things and what we can apply for. So yeah, if you guys find anything, like Kyle sent me something about the meadow, and you just have to investigate what's available and how you get it, and it's very complex. But yeah, Jeff's gotten successfully a lot of different grants. But just to tell you, we are going to meet with the Chester County Parks and Recreation people to see what kind of stuff's available. And I'll be able to tell you, we could get a grant for the meadow. We could get a grant for the, whatever we can get a grant for in the park.
Wonderful. All right. Well, if you would kind of keep me in the loop on that.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
because I just, I think it would behoove all of us.
Oh, well,
I mean,
and I'm telling you, with this MS4, we are choking. So we have said we need to look for grants, and with Matt helping and with other people that understand grants, we can search out grants for different things. And that's what we have to find. We have to find the different organizations. Dockstetter does grants for, like, say, the garden, or or Kyle sent me something that somebody does something for the garden. So then you have to investigate what you have to do and how you have to go about applying for that grant. And it's complicated. I mean, they hire people just to do grants. So it's complicated, but it's doable.
Right. Well, obviously, given the fact that we're volunteer, we don't have, people we can hire to do this work, but
I know Matt has been successful in getting them. And so,
oh wait, not me.
Well, he's got a good partner.
Cohort that she's very good at finding them and applying for them. And so, yeah. So anyway, she's a good resource.
So we'll work on it.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay, moving along. Let's go into Parks and Preserve, infrastructure maintenance and installations. And Dawn and Andrea are our children's project sort of coordinators for Crossin. And I'll look for a little update from you guys.
Well, I'm happy to start if that's okay with you, Dawn. So I met yesterday with Sarah from the library. She works with Shannon, who we talked quite a bit about at our last meeting. And she and I just discussed kind of, what it would be like to put, this rock snake together, what we would need, and kind of what I told her I would discuss with you guys tonight is kind of leading up to putting this rock snake together. I think we would do a little bit of advertising, maybe put some flyers out at the library, maybe online. Crossin, I think the reading program or the Read Aloud program at Crossin this summer is not until August. And so that's actually maybe not a bad thing. What Sarah and I were thinking was that that would give us 2 months to collect rocks and put the information out there, maybe get somebody to, I know, Dawn, I think you said you had a perfect rock for the snake's head. It would give us time to kind of like put a plan together for the snake. And I know it feels like I'm making a bigger deal out of something that could be very simple, but it would give us time to put things together. And then that way, maybe at that first, I think it's the August 1st is maybe the first Friday in August, we could, after reading, or maybe that weekend, we could have kids paint rocks and actually do work on the installation. Or maybe it's something that over the summer kids are able to paint rocks and then drop them off. And then we do the installation that Friday after the reading, the read aloud program, and we put the snake together then. So we were just kind of playing around with some ideas. She was so sweet, and she seems to think it would be very easy for us to put together. And the library has resources. They'd also be willing to, to donate paint and so forth. And I know you have paint.
And I have paint.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think it is very simple, but maybe
Yeah.
giving ourselves a little bit of time to not rush
No.
into it would be a great thing.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Absolutely perfect.
So could I ask, when
we
you,
have,
well, like how big is this snake, and like
well,
bigger rocks are you talking?
what we're anticipating is putting it right inside the tot lot. So between the log and the shavings, the sawdust, put it inside there. It's not big. It's
Okay.
And it would go right along, and it won't hurt the people mowing the yard. And if you look them up online, they just keep adding little rocks to it. We can go all the way around the tot light. I mean, if it ever happened, but
The only reason I asked, one of my customers years ago did some excavation, and on her property, she just has piles of rocks. So I can get my hand, but I don't know if you're talking like Riverstone, like the round.
Well, these would be about the size of your palm.
Okay.
Something
I
like
got
that.
All right.
And the smoother, the better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have a photo. I'm on my phone tonight, unfortunately. And so I'm trying to see if I can share it with the group. Here we go. Can you see that? Did I do it right?
Ta-da!
There you go.
All right, I got it.
Yeah.
So I think this is the general idea, right? Dawn?
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah, she's got like boulders, so you don't want that.
Oh no.
Yeah,
No.
that might be too big.
Now,
Well-
boulders would be good, so kids can't pick them up and throw them at anybody.
Yeah.
But it might be
Hey,
a
hey,
difficult
Matt,
project.
keep that thought. There might be some other projects.
Oh, I've already taken them. I've already used them in the park in a couple spots. So yeah, she said just whatever you need to take.
Oh, that's awesome. But this is more, see, the reading program is little kids.
Yep.
Right. And so that's why I think we wouldn't want to do it necessarily during the reading program.
Right.
You just get a lot of scribbled on rocks.
Right.
But if we can kind of, try and do it around the same time.
Oh,
frame,
absolutely.
That would be good.
Absolutely. And if we work, Andrea, with the library, they will promote it. They
Yeah.
have all these kids follow the library programs. Shannon, I just am in love with Shannon. She's just so wonderful. And, they're just like the Pied Pipers for the kids. So we can get the kids, and all we have to do is put plastic covers over those picnic tables. And, if Sarah knows how you have to prime the rocks and do stuff, there's certain things you have to do. but-
Yes. And she and I did talk about that. She talked about priming them, painting
Perfect.
them, and then,
Perfect.
Spraying with them with some sort of sealant after they
Right.
painted. And so she's definitely
Perfect.
up on all the details of
Oh,
it.
that's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, no, I think it would be so much fun. And we'll get Kyle to we'll do a contest on Name the Snake. And then at the beginning of the at the beginning of the snake, we put up a sign that says, "This is Jake the Snake. Please add rocks and see how long we can make him," and blah, blah, blah. It's all online. And
Yeah, no, I love that idea. That'll be great.
That's awesome.
yeah, that's awesome.
So does that
All
time
right.
frame sound good to you though?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Wonderful.
The summer will go quickly.
No, oh God, it'll be here before we know it.
I know.
Yeah.
Thank you both for
Thank you.
the work you're doing there. And I'm going to sneak in a little thank you to Kyle. I know Don said this in email too, but thank you to Kyle for submitting, donating the first tic-tac-toe board
Oh.
at the top, or in the Healing Garden, actually near the little library. Hopefully it's getting some use already.
Well, it's there. I checked on it on Sunday. It's there. Everything's good. And I'm hoping to get 3 log stumps, a taller one and 2 shorter ones, to make like a little Winnie the Pooh seating that you can put it on the top stump and then sit on the 2 little stumps to play tic-tac.
Oh, perfect.
So it would be
Okay.
wonderful. So Bob and I are working on that.
Okay.
We are.
That,
Yeah. Bob and I are working on
in case
that.
you didn't know, Bob, we need a couple. We need a couple
I've got
short
the stumps at my
tree
house. We just have
tree
to figure out how
trunk
to get them there.
seats. All right. And then Andrew actually posed this question, and Dawn, I don't know if she got to ask you. She said when she was doing some weeding, and this is before you did the red bud thinning out and all that, but she was doing some weeding at the Healing Garden. Where do we put the weeding debris? The
Oh,
stuff
that's
that
so
can-
funny. That's
Where
so
do
fun-
I put the weeds?
Oh
Because
my
I have
God,
gone there
honey.
twice and left little piles, and I feel terrible. But I also think
No.
probably Betsy comes behind and just picks them up and moves them or something.
No, not at all. Not at all. Because you read my mind. I have a project with Noah, and I had gotten those pallets,
Mhm.
but I got all mismatched pallets and they didn't work. So they got put behind the dumpster, and somebody called Jeff, and those pallets got taken away. I've located
make a little
pallet
compost?
company,
Mhm.
and we're going to build a little compost place. Now,
Perfect.
weeds, I want to put in a barrel, and I talked to Jeff about putting a weed barrel, and the other compost will be for non-weeds. But you read my mind, because that's one of the projects we're working on for the end of the garden.
Yeah, it looked like
Awesome.
in the back corner you have like a pile of sticks and stuff,
Yeah.
and I was not I didn't want to start throwing stuff back there. I know myself personally, like I'm more likely to deal with weeds if they're sitting on a pile, like on this, in front of the house.
Right.
Then, so I
Well-
figured just leaving them there wasn't a bad idea.
No,
but,
it's
uh,
not at all. And I saw those, and I was
Okay.
like, somebody's been here which I
I
thought was
didn't get very
wonderful.
far before the kids pulled me away, but I tried.
But those 2, they look like fences with the
Yes.
posts. Those are called dead hedges. And yes, those are a compost pile. Okay. So
Okay.
you can put things in there. It's mostly for branches and dead stuff.
That's what I
And-
thought.
When I left the other Sunday, when we were just leaving, there was a little mouse that ran into the bottom of them. And that's what they're for. They're supposed to be living dead hedges. And
Yeah.
a little mouse is living in the bottom of them. So they work perfect. But
Good.
anyway, so no, the compost is being worked on. I'm glad you asked that.
Okay, good. And then we could make a little sign that just said,
Absolutely.
yeah, weeds
Absolutely.
and whatever.
Weeds here, other things here, and people can,
Yeah, and it should be pretty self-explanatory.
Yes.
But if people are not there often, they may not
Yes.
know. We may want a little sign that says, "Please help weed our garden while your kids play."
There you
Something-
go.
something like
I
that,
like
because,
that.
I mean, I do. I maybe I'm the worst, but I get very bored watching kids playing, and so I find myself elsewhere.
I like
and,
that.
And I would rather pull a weed than stare at my phone. So
There you go.
I
There
can't
you
be the only one.
That's awesome.
As long as we have people who know the difference between weeds and not
Right,
weeds, it's all good.
There's that too. There's that too.
Okay. Any more conversation?
Well, I just want to tell you that I sent Bob a picture, and I've told you this 100 times. the next project I want for we need something maybe from Kyle, a sign that says Tot Lot and education station. So that we can put over there in that medium between the Tot Lot and the parking lot. And then on the corner, what I have envisioned, and Bob and I talked about this, like a 4x4 or a 6x6 post, and then just cut out arrows, just a point on one end and a V on the other end, but all the arrows will be different colors. And one would say restroom, and one would say trails, and one would say garden, and one would say Tot Lot. And it looks kind of like a Winnie the Pooh kind of sign. And I sent him a copy of it. And the kids could even paint the arrows, which would be cool.
Yeah.
So just a new addition to that education portion there.
Kind of like a sign down in Key West that says Tahiti,
Yes.
3,000 miles,
Right.
Pennsylvania,
Yes.
1,202 miles. You know,
Yeah,
Right,
Don,
and
I can forward that image to.
And very simple, you know,
To the
very
whole group.
simple, very simple, but it'll be colorful, and Bob can match it to all his colors in the Tot Lot.
But again, something to engage the
That's
kids
right.
to look at, and yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Exactly.
but only a few different arrows, but
Right.
give
It
me
doesn't-
again, I mean, I don't know if Kyle got it on the list, or she could probably go back, but let us know again the
Oh,
list of things
absolutely.
that should be on there, you know,
Absolutely.
like
Yeah,
the
it'll
directions.
just be a fun thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think now that we can move on, and I think we can skip over the native planning with Dale Hendricks for now, because he's kind of tied up for the next couple of months, and there's nothing we can really do with planting or seeding or anything anytime soon anyway. Tell me if I'm wrong, Bob, but my
yeah,
understanding is
he's
that it
out
won't, you know,
till,
I know he's out for a little bit, and
yeah.
so we can see if we can bring him back into the loop in July or August. And if not, any of us can meet with him individually and sort of, you know, get that ball rolling to do some native planting and things. Just for general purposes here for the meeting recording, Dale has information and lots of plants that are native to the area, and that would be great. And they're self what's the word? Not pollinating, but they reproduce themselves and making
Self-sowing.
plants. Thank you. That. And so they would be great for us to put in the parks and preserves, like in areas where erosion is an issue, and, you know, makes less work for us to maintain the erosion, as well as beautifying and, you know, making the parks more efficient from a nature standpoint.
His place,
Okay.
his place is pretty cool with his little woodland.
Yeah, I hope that
Woodland gardens.
down the road we can you know, arrange another time for everyone to meet up and get the tour there, and get his, you know, aside from his PowerPoint online, to get his tour and, you know, firsthand knowledge and information, as well as defeating a lot of the non-native and invasive species. Okay, next, we've already talked about Adam Swift. I will discuss the new bridge. Matt was questioning me about where a new bridge is needed at the top of Franklin, and I was saying that I think potentially, Bob, you and I and Dave walked all the trails back in February, and there was an area at the top, and it might be technically over the Franklin line, but near the top there was an area that there's a gully and lots of rocks, and an area that particularly when there's runoff, there it would be a benefit to have. And I'm talking just like a very small, you know, bridge to get across for foot traffic. And I will follow up and I will go back and figure out exactly, I'll look back at my pictures and the map and figure out exactly where that is. But we had discussed, and Dave was the one to bring it up, that it would be an area that would be great to have
Were we talking
little-
about
a little
putting
bridge.
dry bridges like Matt did above that little wooden bridge that we
I,
did?
I think that would be a possibility there, certainly, that we could try, as long
Right.
as it allows the water flow, So we'll revisit that when we have a little more information lined up. And then one of the items I had on here is that in Lower Crossan, there are two bridges in the lower part. One's the Whitty Bridge that has been redecked and everything. And then there's another one. And I don't know if it needs full redecking or just some repairs, but that's another thing I just want us to have on our to-do list to review and
Yeah,
figure
I'll
out.
look the next time I'm out there. I'll look at that. It's not as bad as the Whitty Bridge was.
No, it's not.
So
Definitely. Yeah.
I think it just gets maybe a little bit more sunlight in there. So I'll look at that and see. That one would be much easier.
Yeah, let's find out what can be salvaged and what. But I don't think that's a huge project, but it's something that we can have on our project list for this year.
And to me, if you're gonna, instead of just ripping up a couple, just rip it all up and redo the whole thing. It's not worth, you know what I mean? Just so.
Okay,
anyway.
Matt, if you say so. I'm blaming that on you then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right. And then I know that Paul Overton had told us several times there is an area that needs a bridge in Banffshire. And we've talked about this for, I think, since I've been on the committee. There are 2 telephone poles that have already been obtained. A third one needs to be obtained. I don't know where those poles are currently that have been obtained, but there is an area of Banffshire that needs attention and mowing regularly, and there is no easy way to get a machine to that section. So I don't think we're talking about a major 15-foot span kind of bridge, but I want that to be on our list. And I put on here, do we also have lumber? Because I don't know. Again, this is something that's been talked about many times, and I need to follow up with Jeff and the township and perhaps Paul, if he has any more information about it, about what we need to make that happen, because there are.
Does it have to be pressure treated? If it doesn't have to be pressure treated, I can get my hands on lumber.
Okay. I can't answer that question. That would be something we need to ask Jeff and whoever else, is responsible for our legal type things and pressure treated is not as environmentally friendly, but it also lasts. So I don't know.
Matt, are you talking about that oak?
Yeah. I can get my hands on more.
Don't use it out there. Come look at my deck. And that's 2 years old. You don't want to use oak out there. It's not going to work.
Okay. All right.
I've tried oak
right.
3 or 4 times outside. It doesn't go.
Okay.
All right. Next, the trail systems in Crossan and Franklin. I know, Matt, that you want to continue. You've done so much great work on those trails, and we are so grateful for that. We need to continue some of these signs, posts, and trail markers on the trails to make the whole system very user-friendly. And some more "You Are Here" signs, as well as loop signs and exit to parking, so that people who maybe don't travel those trails regularly or ever, can get to a spot and figure out how to get out and get back. And so a lot of good progress has been made on marking the trails, but it'd be nice to complete every trail, every loop, and the 2 side loops rather, and then have additional signs so that nobody is ever capable of getting lost back there. And
Is that
um,
is that something that like we want to take on, or is that something you want to save as an Eagle Scout project?
well, I guess it depends on how long it'll be. And I mean, I
Yeah.
I personally don't know how easy it is to get. I mean, I know a
Right.
lot. I mean, I know a lot of the Eagle Scouts need projects.
Yep.
And it seems like we have had one every year, but I don't know how easy and frequent, like,
And I don't either. I'm
can
just,
we,
you know,
yeah, like,
that seems
exactly.
like a
Can we
great
depend on
project.
that?
That seems like a great project for an Eagle Scout, but if we want to get it done sooner, it's fine. I understand. I'm just like,
Yeah. Well,
I hate to
I know
take that
that,
opportunity away.
I know that at the township, I don't know about posts, but I know that at the township, there's still a lot of arrows and markers and things that we have not yet used that were ordered, from the first run through. And I know that from the Scout project that took place last year, he did a lot of the Noah did a lot of Liam did a lot of the he built the kiosk and he did a lot of the markers and things on the trails. But according to his Scoutmaster, the trail marking thing was not enough of a sort of challenge and
Gotcha.
long-term project. So he had to do the kiosk as his main thing, and then the trail marking was sort of subsidiary to that.
Okay.
So again, it would be having
Yep.
somebody do, some other project. And so, I mean, it's not again, it's not a major, it would certainly be easy enough for us to do as a committee. But I'm trying to get us all on the same page so we all know what projects are there that we want to get accomplished and make them happen.
Heather,
No matter who, yes, go ahead, Kyle.
I thought everything was, I thought exit to parking lot, and I thought they were ordered. Because we have been talking about this forever, and I thought they decided to order them, and then the loops were going to be named. I don't know if they were going by colors. Like the
Yeah,
Pico
originally there were going
leaf.
to be names. There was going to be a Pico and there was going to be a Liam, and then Liam decided he didn't want his name on
No,
it,
yeah.
and so they, so I mean, it could be the gray loop and the black loop or whatever. I mean, yeah, I don't know if they were. I don't think so, and I don't know who was,
I
sort
thought
of.
Dave was going to take care of it.
Okay, well,
So you might
Well, they
want to
might
check
be
Again-
ordered,
again-
they haven't
yeah.
been installed. Only
Right.
the Franklin side has been installed for the most part. So
True. Yeah, there is. Yeah, there is. So anyway, I don't know, Kyle. I will follow up with Dave and Jeff and anyone else who may have information on that. But I don't have any knowledge that any of us on the committee did that. And along the same thing, we've talked about adding QR codes to, and I know Kyle, you've worked on that a little bit too, but QR codes to all the different maps and You Are Here signs so that anybody can pull up, use the QR code to go to the website and, have an not interactive, but a visual map of, it'd be great if we could figure out an interactive one, but a visual map of the preserve or park or wherever they are. Vine removal, I think we'll revisit in the fall because it's tougher now that there's a lot more foliage, but we had a great vine removal project in the spring before foliage started coming out. And I know Mary knows a few neighbors over there who've done a fair amount of vine work in Banffshire. I don't know that we've had much done in Crossan. And Goodwin's kind of like the ugly stepchild that we sort of don't really spend a lot of time and effort working on, but that apparently needs a lot of vine work too. So when the foliage starts dying off this fall, early winter, I'd like to really, create some volunteer days for getting after the vines on all those locations too. I am working on the Gaga Paw pit. Next item. I have I've pulled up lots of pictures and lots of websites that have sort of do-it-yourself, recipes is not the right word, but the descriptions of everything you need. And I am still working on that. But the most important thing for that is going to be figuring out exactly where is the best place to put that, because it needs to be a level area. And that may be something we could meet up or at Crossing sometime. I'd like it to be not too far away from the tot lot, but it's gonna, again, have to be somewhere a little bit removed and have an easy enough ground space to level off and have good drainage and all of that. So I'm on it, but I do not have more specifics right now. I could show you lots of pictures and websites, but I can't share from here. And other kiosks, the goal is that there will be a kiosk at every parking area, so that no matter where anybody parks, they will be able to view the map and information. So that's not just the one parking lot now and then the up by the comfort stations. Okay, activities and events at Parks and Preserves. Dawn, I'm going to punt to you right now. Oh, Matt, did you have something to say? Matt, were you waving your hand or just, okay. Okay. Move on, get on with it. Okay, Dawn.
I'm absolutely excited about Saturday, June, and I wrote it wrong on the last thank you I wrote. It's June 21st, Saturday, June 21st. And if it rains, it'll be this 22nd, but it'll be the same times. It'll be noon. And I would like any of you to come. You don't have to weed. You don't have to do anything. What we're going to do is a welcome back the bee tea. And what I'm foreseeing is we're going to have lemonade and iced tea and water. And then everybody's going to bring little tea sandwiches, biscotti, whatever you want to bring, just as a little tea treat. And you have a meet and greet and you meet people. And that's why this is more of a club than anything, because I want older people that are gardeners. I have some older people that are gardeners that love to talk about the garden, love to see the garden. So, and I want Mary to come, and I want the Hapkas to come, and I want everybody to come. And so any of you are more than welcome to come help me put together this tea. And then at 1 o'clock, there'll be the master gardener. She's going to pick some of the plants. And I didn't know anything about mountain mint when I started. So we have beautiful mountain mint. We have some beautiful, oh God, all different Baptista and all different kind of plants that she's going to talk about. And then when we do the stay and play, I'm going to show people, and I hope Amy can help me. The Bluebird Queen knows how to do this thing that's called the Chelsea cut. And this is about those plants that grow up above you. Well, last year they got out of control. So we were looking and looking and looking for a way to control those cut leaf coneflowers. And I found this Chelsea cut. And we're going to teach people how to do. And Amy said, oh, I do it in my garden all the time. I was like, well, then you need to come over and teach us how to do it. So that's the plan for the next program. So anybody, you can come at 12, you can go at 1, you can come at 2, you can come whenever, just to see what we're doing. You don't have to help. You don't have to, just to promote the program and be there with us. So.
What is the date you said it was?
Huh?
What was that date?
Saturday the 21st.
And I'll put it up in the next couple days. Stacy's made a beautiful flyer for me, and I just have to get Ginny is going to do the name of the program so that I can put that on there. So we're very excited about it. And I have to thank all of my weeding warriors. If I know Heather was the recipient of some of our red
bud saplings. Yes. Yeah, they're big, actually bigger than saplings. They were better than saplings.
They were big. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they had to come out of the garden. So I needed the guys. The guys came and they helped pull out I called them the teenage red buds, not the baby red buds, the
Yeah.
teenage red buds. We pulled some really big red buds out of that garden last Sunday. So I was so happy that everybody came and helped. And we sent a lot of them off to good homes. Bob had people, Jim had people, Heather took 5. I mean, we sent a lot of them off to good new homes. So I'm very happy about it.
Yep. I will send pictures as they grow.
I'm gonna bonsai one. I'll show it to you in 20 years.
Good luck with that. Okay. Oh, is that, Dawn, quick question. Is that going to be a child friendly event? And what do the bees have to do with it? Just out of
Well,
curiosity.
it's a summer solstice program because summer solstice is that Friday. So
Right.
really it's about the beginning of summer, the summer solstice, and the welcome back the bees. So you know, I'm working on a bee program for the kids, but I haven't figured that out yet. So I'm just, but you can bring kids and they can go over and play in the tot lot, or they can run around, or yeah.
I got you. Okay. All right. And then talking about the fall event. This is something that I would love for somebody to sort of take on to organize. Clearly there's not going to be a full-on fall fest this year, September, like last year. I think everybody in the township office at least got pretty burnt out on last year, but they are definitely bringing it back next year. And it was so well attended that many of us, including Mary, have felt like it'd be great to have at least something, even if it's something small, just have something this fall to kind of keep the momentum a little bit. I know that Penn Township and some other areas have already planned a good sized fall fest there. So I don't want to compete with anybody local, but something that could include, Dawn, I know, wants to do another plant swap. And, we can always bring in some food trucks, or, we can make Bob and his band come play some music. So I'd like to start sooner than later, start looking at some dates that are not conflicts. Go ahead.
Excuse me,
Yes,
Heather,
yes,
just so you know,
yes.
London Britain is having their event on September 27th.
Okay.
So that date is taken, just so you know.
Okay. Well, that's what I said. I want to figure out what
Yeah.
all the conflicts are right away and make sure that it's feasible without, stepping on anybody's toes. As well as, work out the logistics.
So I have info on the car show.
Okay.
So I talked to a couple of people that do these car shows and promote them, and they're sending me all the information, and they're willing to help me get it started and what to do to get it going. So what we can do is we'll set up a date. I should have all the information within the next week or so. We can email back and forth the information, and then we'll set a date. We'll find food trucks and things like that, wine, margaritas, whatever we can get. We'll have the band there. I already talked to the band. They're ready to go.
All we need is Lisa for the margaritas, right?
We'll have Lisa for the margaritas in the background. So they're sending me, the information, and they said, don't worry about cars. We'll end up with cars,
Okay.
coming to the show.
Did they have any restrictions on dates for availability?
No, they're getting
Or they-
me, they're going to get me the information on dates that they already have ongoing, and we'll just work around those.
Okay.
So, late August, early September, probably be a good time to shoot.
I think September's better because August is still, summertime for people who are doing beach time and kid time and whatever. Like once school's back in, I think even though sports kick in, but still, I think September, even early October, but September ideally is better. So let's figure out, the conflicts, and I will take on that part of, Kyle, you can write this down for me. I will take
Heather?
on the part. Yes.
10 Townships is October 11th.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well, that's sort of out of the window. All right. So London, Britain is, what'd you say, Mary? September
27th.
27, and then Penn is October 11th. Okay.
And
So,
we also have a movie night October 4th.
right. That's why I was thinking. I don't think going into October is a.
Yeah, that's too much all in one little area.
Yeah.
So maybe like the week.
So
after
September
October.
20th, when is Labor Day? Is that still August or is it September?
August or probably
All
late August at this point.
Anyway, so right now, so it looks like, okay, so right now I'm gonna figure out what our, crap, what did I just do to my computer?
September 1st is Labor Day.
September 1st, right.
Okay, so I'm gonna look at, so we're ideally September 20th or 13th, right? Are those the Saturdays? So that's sort of our maybe target
Yeah,
area.
13 or 20.
Okay,
20 would probably be great.
okay.
But
So let's just
I
make
will
sure
have
they're, all right.
I'll
All
have
right.
all that information this week, and they'll, show me how to set up flyers and how to advertise and all that stuff.
Yep.
They
Yeah,
have-
because the
all
first
I have
day
to
of
do is
fall, the first
follow
day
their
of fall
format.
is Monday, the 22nd. So that might be great because I might be able to do a fall garden thing that
Dawn,
Saturday
did you freeze?
too.
Okay. Right.
Heather,
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
all right, there we go. We're back.
Okay. All right.
We froze.
I can hear both, but Dawn looks frozen.
I see her. Okay. She was just waving her hand. Waving again.
Yeah, so September 20th sounds good. Like in
Yeah.
that,
Well,
that
it'd
range.
be great. It'd be great
Yeah,
if
no,
that would work
looks
out.
good.
And it's a
Okay.
little
All right.
cooler then too.
We'll start focusing on that right now, unless major conflicts come up.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to future activities. We've already talked about some of this. Dawn, we've talked about yoga in the park. I know there's already a movie night scheduled, a stargazing event for Girl Scouts, live music events. I feel like these are little things that we can start, working into our annual calendars and have, people sort of take on anything that sort of seems like a pet interest to them.
Frozen again.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep. You're back.
Okay. Everybody hear me?
Yep.
Okay. All I'm getting is Bob, so hopefully, and everybody else's cameras are off, so I don't know if
We're all
they can see
muted.
or not. Everybody's going to sleep. Okay. So I'm not gonna like take a lot of time on each of the future activity events, but we have again several items on there that I would love for people to again take on if anything seems like it's really an interest to them. And if not, later in the year I'll start assigning things so that we can all, take on a little bit of responsibility as well as make things happen.
Hey, Heather.
Yes.
I would love to work with whomever if you guys do want to do like a hike or trail trip to Paradox. Like that'd be cool to be with like the nature group if you guys have an interest in that.
I love that. I mean, I love any arranged trail things, but doing the trails and then going up to Paradox is definitely, it's one of the,
So-
I think would be one of the highlights. Go ahead.
I have pretty good connection with Paradox. We've done events out of there. They would love to do something, even if it was like park at Paradox, go for a walk, and then come back to Paradox, or something along that. They're always looking to do something. So if it gets to that point, we want to try and I could certainly help, connect you with people and see what we can figure out with Paradox.
That would be awesome.
I'm proud to say that at one time on their computer screen was the Matt Thompson discount code for drinks at Paradox. I don't think it exists
Where was
anymore.
I then? Matt?
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it exists anymore, but at one
Yeah,
point there
can
was.
you
Well, let's
share
let's
those?
It was actually under.
revamp that.
I'm known as Coach Matt there. So if
Oh,
you go,
there you go.
So, but anyway.
We'll take it.
So
Mhm.
yes, I mean, like I said, if something like that wants to ever, if we want to try and do something like that,
A Crossan Park discount.
yeah, I mean, they might be.
Exactly.
I mean, I can't speak for them, but they've always been very good to me in the past. So
That's awesome.
Too bad we can't get wine and then take it while we're walking
Yeah.
trails and then go back. But
We're a little
not?
more
we could have a little
wild.
wine. We could have a little wine and then walk the trail and then go back to
Yeah.
more wine.
there you go.
Okay, that sounds good to me. So Mary, thank you. Let's make that happen this summer.
And Heather, I just have an update. I'm actually meeting with Shane Morgan tomorrow at the office
Okay.
about something else with MS4, but I'm
Mhm.
going to talk to her about the rain garden, and she is really interested in doing a program with the rain garden. So I'll
Okay.
find it out tomorrow. And I'm happy to report there's a little egg in one of the Bluebird boxes at the office, but I think it's a tree swallow. So I
Well,
just,
We're still,
it is what it is. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, and I had that on there. I think you'd mentioned something about maybe having some more Bluebird boxes.
Well, so
Made there?
that's so funny because there was we had a whole meeting last Monday, whatever it was, Mary was on it too, about the Mason-Dixon. There is a whole program about the Mason-Dixon Trail, doing historical markers, historic stops, and we were talking about doing an interpretive thing in the back of the building. So there's so many things coming up, but yeah, I told them that whole yard behind the office and around the office, we could put up another whole Bluebird trail up there. So they were excited about that. So
Okay. Well, I know you have the woman who's done the boxes for you
oh, she's
so far.
amazing.
But we also know that now on our committee, we have Chris Consorto, who is
Yes.
also a
And boy,
Bluebird aficionado. So it'd be nice if we can sort of
everybody knows I
work
collect
together.
people, so I've got Chris
Yep.
on my radar.
Okay, good. Well, it'd be nice if he can start helping on that area too. Okay.
And Chris also makes bat boxes, which you guys have heard me talk about. Our bat boxes are dead over at the park, so I need new bat boxes, and they need to be put other places. So that's a whole nother project. So there's a lot going on.
I could
Those
also
are kind of
use some-
difficult because the bats won't go in them for like almost the first year.
Right, exactly.
So they're a little bit tricky. You have to kind of make them specifically to whatever bat you're shooting for.
That's right.
Yeah, good to know. That's okay. We don't mind long-term.
Yeah. I was just at a park up in
Projects.
Pennsylvania and they had a chimney swift box. It literally looks like a chimney. And I've never seen anything like that before, actually. It was the first time I ever saw those.
Hmm.
So
And
basically
Chris,
just
I
looks
don't
like a
know whether
tube.
you know anything about Kestrel boxes, but there's a whole thing about putting Kestrel boxes out. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Kestrels are, I believe they're migratory, if I remember
Yeah.
correctly. So, yeah.
All right. Have I missed anything that any committee members would like to bring up?
Are we gonna revisit trail days? I think Banffshire needs some help.
Okay. Do we want to, we have Dawn's summer solstice event coming up June, do we want to plan a July volunteer day? I mean, and we're not limited to once a month necessarily. It's just
Right,
people
but
get-
I'd like to get
start
it,
getting,
if we
like-
could do it, I'd like to get into July,
Okay,
early July, maybe after 4th of July, since that's a party weekend, and I'll probably be painting the sky anyway.
yeah,
And-
nobody will be available then.
Yeah, if anybody wants
All
to
right.
come on, you might see the sky getting
Okay.
painted. So,
All right, so,
yeah, early
let's-
July, because what we need to do is go in and we need to heavily weed whack and cut back all the overhangs that are, starting to grow in.
Okay.
It's starting to look like a cave in there. And I think Matt's got something on the Keene Trail too, right? Unmute yourself, Matt.
Yeah, I haven't been to through the Keene Trail in a bit. I'm sure it needs to be cut back, but I feel like one of the neighbors maybe has been cutting it too. But anyway, that's another trail that we need to get on and clean up.
okay, should we try to focus on Keene for August?
Oh, I think it might
I think
need
it
it.
probably
Or,
needs it
or
before then.
sooner, okay,
It's going to need it sooner than that.
okay,
So
Like-
could I make
All right.
a suggestion? I mean, I think that
of course.
weekends in the summer are going to get really hectic really quickly, and our next meeting falls on July 2nd, I believe.
Yeah.
And so I would be curious to know if people are around for July, on July 2nd, should we skip next month's meeting and maybe just plan like a weeknight, meet in one of the preserves and, give it an hour, all of us.
Make
and-
it a working meeting.
yeah, something like
Uh-huh.
that, rather than, and maybe fit one or two of those in rather than one of our, kind of Zoom meetings. I don't know if anyone
Right.
would be open to something like that.
It's a great idea. I love
I
it.
could do it.
I'm in.
Yep.
We could get a lot done in an hour and a half on site.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And,
we
and I think that July 2nd meeting is going to be difficult for people.
agreed.
So is it gonna be a working meeting, like, we'll bring weed whackers and all that, or are we gonna?
I mean, maybe like the
Oh.
following, maybe like the following week, the week after the 4th of July week, we all meet like on Wednesday. That's not a board meeting, right? And so we could get out like on Tuesday or Wednesday that following week. I don't have a calendar in front of me.
It's July
I'm
9th.
just ba-
If it's a
we-
Wednesday, it's July 9th.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm just batting an idea out there. I don't have a date in mind, but if it was like a Tuesday or one, just like let's get out there and do some work rather than chat one of these months, especially if it's going to be hard to pin everyone down for a meeting online.
Okay,
Yep.
Does that work for everybody? Okay, so
can we
would
drink
we
one with her?
just, okay, so I mean, we'll iron down the details after, but should we focus on Keene or Bamshire right now for
Bamshire.
that meeting?
Yeah, do Bamshire.
Bamshire
Okay.
gets a whole lot more traffic.
Okay, all right, so tentatively, we're looking at July 9th, and basically, we could sort of start as early as people are able, and people can drift in, and that's fine. And Bamshire. All right, we will work out details offline and publicize. Okay. Is there any public comment at this time? I think everything just froze. Can you guys hear me?
Now, Heather,
Yes.
I have
Yes.
Yeah.
I have something.
Good. Okay,
Have
go ahead, Kyle.
Has anybody checked on the poison hemlock and the Canadian thistle? I know the
At-
farmers used to complain about the Canadian
at-
thistle
at-
in
at,
Goodwin.
Goodwin.
And then I saw a post about the poison hemlock, but I know we discussed when it should be cut and has it been cut or will it be cut?
Depends on where you're talking about. Where are you talking about?
It's in Franklin.
Good.
Yeah, so the field in Franklin has been cut. Like at the top of Crossing. If that's
Right.
that's been cut.
Yeah, I agree. Jeff and I and everybody talked about the poison hemlock up there in Franklin. I'm not sure about the Goodwin, so I can check with Jeff and see about the thistle down there.
Because I
Well,
know
Goodwin-
it was treated what, for 2 years or a year or, yeah, but I don't know.
I don't think they could treat it. I think they said that it just had to be mowed.
I think
Didn't
we
it just have to be mowed at particular times
Like you try and mow it
for-
when it goes to flower so it doesn't
like
go to seed.
Right.
prior to seed? Yes.
Right.
Correct. Because
And
it
that was-
reseeds.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought
And-
they had that company come in and spray at Goodwin.
Yeah, Kyle, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I think that was right before I came on board, so I don't remember what the fellow's name was, but they did spray.
The one who helped put the garden in, Red Tail.
Red tail.
They
Yeah.
sprayed.
Red tail. I'll check with Jeff and see, because I know I put out 2 big things about the poison hemlock, and we made sure that we mowed the Franklin, but I'm not sure about the thistle stuff. So I will check with Jeff on that.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, he's pretty good about, making sure that follow-up treatments
Yeah.
happen, but
But I know the hemlock. we
but yeah,
tried to
but let's
stay ahead
double
of,
check. Yep.
because it was scary.
Yeah, and I also know with the thistle that the neighbor next door to Goodwin was
Yep.
squawking for years, but
Yes.
I have not heard
exactly.
anything about that lately, so I don't know if it
Maybe no
has been
news is
resolved
good
or
news.
well, exactly, but it would still be nice to keep it under
I
control.
know.
'Cause
I'll check
that
on
stuff
that.
is
Yeah, I'll
awful.
check.
Okay. Again, back to public comment, if anything.
I actually do have one thing.
Hey. Okay, go ahead, Mary.
I'm not going to hold y'all, I promise. Just when it comes to the map for the You Are Here, if y'all need anything for the map, let me know.
Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Yeah,
I am
we know
I am working on that, Mary, and so I'll let you know for sure.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
You've done so much great work on our maps, Mary, that we could never have had what we have without you, and we're grateful. Okay, with that said, our next meeting is now not going to be July 2nd. We're gonna scratch that meeting, and whatever the first Wednesday is in August will be our next official meeting, but we will schedule a working meeting, hopefully July 9th. More information to follow. And with that, I will motion to adjourn.
A second.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, everybody.
guys.
Have a great
See ya.
night.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.